Hey, what's up everybody? A lot of people on the forums have been asking me about my gear. I've made quite a bit of changes and haven't gotten around to posting a screenshot on it, and I figured I'd post another video real quick to give you guys a quick update. I went and subbed out my weapon. This one is not as good as my old one, but I sold my old one for about 16 million and picked this one up for 800k. And as a tank doctor, you don't really care too much about your DPS, so I took a 2k DPS loss, but when you're at 13 and 11, that's really not that big of a deal. So it was worth subbing out. Was able to buy a lot of other upgrades with it. And the gem I put in there is 500 life on hit. With a weapon, don't overspend on an item that comes with life on hit base. You will end up paying out the nose for those items because everyone in the world is after them right now. You are actually better off getting a weapon with a high amount of stats on it and an open socket, because you can just gem for life on hit. Now that gem in there is pretty darn expensive, but you can get away with a 300 life on hit gem that isn't too expensive for a while and get life on hit on other pieces of your gear. Do not overspend on a weapon just because it has life on hit innately on it. You will overpay. So try to look for something cheaper. For my boots, again, in my previous video I stated that I follow a pattern for all of my gear. I'm looking for intelligence, vitality, all resistance, and high amounts of armor. The base armor of these items is pretty good. I wish it would have had more armor on it. These boots cost me I think 2 or 3 million. The shield cost me 4 or 5 million. I'm looking for a very high armor shield. If it doesn't have bonus armor on it, I don't really care about it. I want a high amount of block, and the block amount to be 3700 to 4700. All resistance is nice if you can get it for not paying too much, and you want either a base stat of intelligence or vitality. Anything else is kind of extra on there. The regenerate life per second was extra for me. The blind on hit was extra. I'd prefer if the blind was stun or freeze, but I can't be picky. I got it for 4 or 5 million, which is a pretty good deal with how high of a block chance it has and the decent stats that are on it. Ring, I got a steal. Found it yesterday with the base stats, all resistance, life on hits, and armor. Got this for 2 million off the AH. It's a sick ring for any tank doctor out there. The only way it could be better is if it had either percent life or vitality on it. But I'm gonna go ahead and settle for that. That's a pretty good deal for 2 million. Pants, nothing special, just lots of armor, lots of vitality, lots of resistance. Ring, Justice Lantern. This thing is extremely expensive these days. I got mine for 4 million a while ago. I've had it for quite a while. Now they're on the ARM-AH for like $50. And I think the cheapest you can find on the gold auction house is maybe 6 million. So this would be one of the last pieces you upgrade unless you have quite a bit of gold to spend. You want to fill up all your other slots with the relatively cheaper pieces, and then your really expensive slots like your shield, your ring, last. You don't want to overspend because you can get some really good pieces in other slots without having to waste a ton of gold. And a good example of that is this belt. Now the vitality on intelligence is a little bit low, so you guys might think it's not that great, but it all has over 500 armor on it because of the strength on there. You also get 70 to resist all and really awesome 3.4% chance to freeze on hit. I'm a big fan of the on hit effects. I don't think you should go out of your way to get them, but if you can get the stat you're looking for and get it, it is a worthwhile investment. You don't necessarily lock a mob up forever, but if you get say 6% of on hit effects, it's noticeable, and where you can stun lock a mob for a few seconds here and there. It's pretty nice. Bracers, I don't remember the cost for these. That belt I believe was 100k, so you can get some pretty good stuff if you search around. Bracers, I don't remember how much they cost, but they're pretty darn good. They're really high armor. The intelligence vitality is but it came with all resistance and a lot of armor, so pretty good item, and physical resistance on there as well. The gloves, another 100k item. Nothing too special, just high stats, decent armor, and chance to stun on hit. Shoulders, this is probably my weakest item right now. I haven't gotten rid of them because they're so well statted. I mean, the stats are a little bit low in all the areas, but they're all so good. It's almost perfectly itemized. I'll eventually replace those. I'm at the point where replacing gear is extremely expensive. Each piece is a couple million per piece if I want to upgrade, so I'm kind of just waiting until I find the ideal piece I'm looking for before I drop that cash. Chest piece is, again, just high vitality, intellect, and resistances. So I'm pretty consistent across my gear. I'm just looking for high base stats, high resistances, and armor. Helm is Helmet Command. I got this for 4 million. You can get one so much cheaper nowadays. You probably get a helm with very similar stats for 1,000,000 gold or $5 on the RMAH. They're really cheap nowadays. Everyone in the world is making them since you can craft them. Neck piece is one of my favorite pieces of gear. I was so lucky. A streamer PM'd me, asked me if I wanted to buy it from him, gave me a sick deal on it. It's got some really high base stats, all resistance and physical resistance. Each hit 232, which is kind of low. I mean, they can go up to over 600, but I'll take it. You know, I've got almost 1,000 right now, which is more than enough, and reduce damage from melee attacks by 4%. So a lot of these pieces were pretty expensive. A lot of them are actually really cheap. People are really surprised when they find out that I paid so little for certain items. It just takes time. You got to know what you're looking for on the AH, and I will put out a video later on this week explaining better ways to search on the AH for what you're looking for and try to get it so you guys don't overspend. I don't want everyone in the world thinking that tank spec it takes 30 million gold to get what you need. I spent that much amount of gold on this spec, but you can do an Act 1 and 2 and early Act 3 build spending way under 10 million. I could say you probably build an Act 3 build for under 5 million. It is not as expensive as everyone makes it out to be. You just have to be patient and know exactly what you're looking for. So if you guys have any questions, comments, or anything like that, go ahead and leave them on the video. You can go to my forums, you can PM me in game, however you want to contact me. I try as hard as I can to respond to everybody individually and respond as best as I can. So you guys have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you next time.